This weekend will be the Royal Rumble, one of WWE's Big Four PLEs, which officially kicks off the road to their biggest event, WrestleMania. And I thought for today's video, I would clash two things that I absolutely love. Professional wrestling, since I also am a professional wrestler outside of making these YouTube videos, and Funko Pops. So I'm DK Wrestler for those that don't know yet, and today I'm going to be going through the entire list of the Royal Rumble winners and determining whether each of these superstars have Funko Pops or not. So let's get right to it. So starting off with 1988, it was won by Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who actually does not have a Funko Pop, surprisingly. In 1989, it was won by Big John Studd, who also does not have a Funko Pop, and I don't think there will ever be a likeliness of them making a Big John Studd Funko Pop, if I can be honest. But in 1990 and 1991, back-to-back, it was won by Hulk Hogan, which Hulk Hogan has had a ton of Funko Pops in the past. You look at some of those OG ones. There was the cool one that they did with him ripping his shirt. They even have a new one of him ripping his shirt with the title around his waist. There's the Hollywood Hogan Pops they've done. They've done quite a bit of Hulk Hogan Pops in the past. The 1992 Royal Rumble was won by the Nature Boy Ric Flair, which Ric Flair has had a ton of pops. Red robe, the OG pink robe, they did the black robe that was a Diamond Collection pop, and they even did a multi-pack where it was him and Charlotte Flair and they were all gold, which I still don't really know why they made that multi-pack, to be honest. 1993 was won by Yokozuna, and this is a bit of a surprise because I feel like Yokozuna would have already been made into a pop by now. In 1994, it was co-won by Lex Luger and Bret the Hitman Hart, which I'll start off with Bret Hart, who does have multiple Funko Pops, not as many as a lot of superstars like Hulk Hogan has, but he's had this OG one. There was the newer one with like the jacket and the glasses, and then there was an in-ring moments with the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, and then Lex Luger actually does have a Funko Pop, and I feel like not a lot of people remember this because it was the multi-pack involving Surfer Sting that was exclusive to FYE. I think people forget about this because it looks more like Rowdy Roddy Piper in his actual ring gear instead of Lex Luger. Then 1995 and 1996 were won by the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, which Shawn Michaels does have quite a bit of Funko Pops. There was the Walgreens exclusive going towards more of the beginning of his Heartbreak Kid gimmick. There was the 1996 attire for WrestleMania 12, along with the in-ring moments that I talked about with Bret Hart. And then, of course, there are the DX Shawn Michaels that I could think of off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's more that I can't think of off the top of my head. Then 1997 and 1998, respectively, was won by Stone Cold Steve Austin, which, of course, he does have a ton of Funko Pops. OG Funko Pops. They recently released the one with the Zamboni. There's him with one title. There's him with two titles. They've done a bunch of Stone Cold Funko Pops. 1999 was won by Mr. McMahon, which he does have a Funko Pop. Actually, technically two when it comes to the one with the blue attire, and then there is a chase version with the pink attire. Highly doubt with the controversy in the last couple of years that they will make any more Funko Pops for Mr. McMahon. The 2000 Royal Rumble was won by The Rock, and he does have multiple Funko Pops. I believe he has the most Funko Pops out of any WWE superstar. You look at the OG ones. They even have the Rocky Maivia ones. They did an in-ring moments with Stone Cold Steve Austin. They have a Mankind and Rock 2-pack. They've done quite a bit for The Rock, the gold one. There's a lot that I can't think of off the top of my head, but just know that Rock has a ton of Funko Pops. 2001 Royal Rumble was won by Stone Cold Steve Austin, which we already went over that he does have Funko Pops, but 2002 was won by the Game Triple H, and he does have multiple Funko Pops. Whether we talk about the OG one, there is also Skull King Triple H, DX Triple H. They've done multiple Triple H. I would love to see maybe an Evolution 4-pack at some point. The 2003 Royal Rumble was won by Brock Lesnar, and he does have 3 Funko Pops. Those 3 specifically being the OG version being exclusive to Walmart, the Farmer Brock Lesnar exclusive to Amazon, and then the multi-pack involving The Undertaker to commemorate him breaking the streak, which I'm sure a lot of us, including myself, are still kind of a little bit bummed that it was Brock that ended the streak. The 2004 Royal Rumble was won by Lord Voldemort, Chris Benoit, and it sucks with what ended up happening to him and what he had done because unfortunately his accomplishments will never be acknowledged, and unfortunately there will never be be Funko Pops of Chris Benoit, nor has there ever been Funko Pops of Chris Benoit. The 2005 Royal Rumble was won by Batista, which he has one Funko Pop. And unfortunately, the Funko Pop, in my opinion, wasn't all that great. It was more of like 2010 era Batista, and he's holding a microphone. I would have loved if they would have done like maybe Ruthless Aggression Batista with hair, and he's holding the big gold belt. I think that would have been absolutely awesome, and I think that's something that hopefully gets made soon to make up for that terrible Batista, in my opinion. The 2006 Royal Rumble was won by Rey Mysterio, and he does have multiple Funko Pops. Rey Mysterio, for the longest time, only had like a few Funko Pops that were super rare, including the 7-Eleven exclusive and the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. But then with his newest run as of late, there was a couple of new ones, including a glow-in-the-dark version with his more current attire, and I'm sure that there's going to be more Rey Mysterio Pops coming down the pipeline, whether it's commemorating some of his older attires or some of his newer ones, because he's had quite a bit of cool outfits. The 2007 Royal Rumble was won by The Undertaker, which he does have multiple Funko Pops. Not only does he have multiple Funko Pops, but I actually have every single Undertaker Funko Pop that has ever been made, which we did do a YouTube short showing off all those pops. There was quite a bit, like the OG Undertaker, they did Boneyard Undertaker, the multi-pack I mentioned earlier. They did quite a bit of cool Undertaker pops. 2008 Royal Rumble was won by John Cena, and he does have a lot of Funko Pops, probably almost as much as The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, with the different outfits that he's had, hence Rock at one point calling him Fruity Pebbles, that they've made so many different John Cena pops. They even went down the route of making a translucent John Cena to go along the whole "you can't see me" thing. That's actually the pop that I do own of John Cena, and it's just a funny thing to own in the collection if you're a WWE fan. 2009 Royal Rumble was won by Randy Orton, and Randy Orton has had a Funko Pop made. More specifically, two Funko Pops. They did an OG one around the same time the Batista and the Invisible John Cena one was made, and then they did more of a recent one involving the RK Bro tag team. Once again, Randy Orton is a person that I feel like definitely deserves more Funko Pops, especially if you go back to some of his earlier days. The 2010 Royal Rumble was won by the Rated R Superstar Edge, which he has one Funko Pop. And unfortunately, because he is signed with AEW now, and the Funko Pop that was made commemorates his 2020 Royal Rumble return, there unfortunately wouldn't be a new Edge Pop coming out anytime soon, and that's unfortunate. The 2011 Royal Rumble was won by Alberto Del Rio, who does not have a Funko Pop, but the 2012 Royal Rumble was won by Sheamus, who has one Funko Pop. In the very first set of WWE Funko Pops, actually, Sheamus, I believe, was like number 4 or 5 in the set. I can't exactly remember, but he was one of the OG Pops, and there hasn't been a new Sheamus Pop made since. The 2013 Royal Rumble was won by John Cena, but we already discussed about him, and 2014 was won by Batista, but 2015's Royal Rumble was won by Roman Reigns. Roman has a few Funko Pops. For the longest time, there was only one Roman Reigns Funko Pop until he started his whole Tribal Chief gimmick and being the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, and now he has quite a bit of Funko Pops, whether it is with different shirts or him holding both the Universal and WWE titles to merge both of the titles. 2016 was won by Triple H, we already discussed about him, and 2017 was won by Randy Orton, but 2018 began the year with both men's and women's, starting off with the men's winner being Shinsuke Nakamura, who does have one Funko Pop. And the women's Royal Rumble that year was won by Asuka, who does have multiple Funko Pops. They made ones that were exclusive to like San Diego Comic-Con and Target, and then they made a newer one that was a common also. 2019's Royal Rumble for the women's, it was won by Becky Lynch, who has multiple Funko Pops, whether it's in gear or it's even with the man t-shirt. And then the men's Royal Rumble was won by Seth Rollins. He does have two Funko Pops, actually. I almost said one, but there was the black attire and then the white attire exclusive to FYE. I'm very surprised, especially with him being the current World Heavyweight Champion now at this point and being at the top of the ladder as terms to the last couple of years, that there hasn't been a Seth Rollins pop made since. 2020's Royal Rumble for the women's was won by Charlotte Flair, who does have a couple of Funko Pops. The blue attire that was exclusive to Foot Locker, there was the green attire, and then there was also the 2-pack I mentioned with Ric Flair earlier. And then the men's Royal Rumble for that year was won by Drew McIntyre, who did get a Funko Pop about a year after that Royal Rumble win. 2021's Royal Rumble for the men's was won by Edge, who we already discussed earlier for 2010, but 2021's women was won by Bianca Belair, who does have 2 Funko Pops, and the Funko Pops they made, actually the first one with the purple attire was the attire that she wore when she got her opportunity from winning the Royal Rumble and defeated Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title, and then the other one with the black and red attire was actually the attire she wore at the following year's WrestleMania, where she defeated Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Then for the 2022 Men's Royal Rumble, it was won by Brock Lesnar, who we discussed about earlier, but the Women's Royal Rumble was won by Rowdy Ronda Rousey, who does have a couple of Funko Pops. And I'm not going to include, obviously, the UFC Funko Pop that they made back in the day, but they did make a WWE Funko Pop, I believe in 2018, 2019, during her initial run. And then they did a multi-pack recently involving Triple H to commemorate the mixed tag match he had at WrestleMania 34. And then last year's Royal Rumble 2023, the men's was won by the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, who does have, I guess I can say, 2 Funko Pops. And I'm not going to count the New Japan Pro Wrestling Pop that they made of Cody, where it was just Cody and he didn't have the rights to use his own last name for some reason. But they did make the Walmart exclusive American Nightmare Cody Rhodes Pop, which I do own, and then recently announced they do have Cody Rhodes with the torn pec. And then the Women's Royal Rumble was won by Rhea Ripley, who does have 1 Funko Pop made that was a common. I thought I would throw in a honorable mention as terms to the greatest Royal Rumble that they had back in 2018. That was a 50-man and it happened in Saudi Arabia. That was won by Braun Strowman, who does have now 2 Funko Pops. There was the OG Funko Pop of Braun Strowman, and then now in the newest wave of WWE Pops, they do have a more current Braun Strowman. But then now going to my predictions for 2024's Royal Rumble, and I'm actually going to mention if my picks do have Funko Pops or not. For the men's, I think that CM Punk is going to win, which he does have Funko Pops, and he has 2 of them. First off was in the OG wave, I believe it's number 2 in the WWE lineup, and then they also made one with pink trunks that was exclusive to Hot Topic. Both pretty expensive pops at this point, and I'm sure we're going to get new CM Punk Pops probably by the end of 2024 to early 2025. And my pick for the Women's Royal Rumble for this year is Bayley, of all people, which Bayley does have 1 Funko Pop back in her Hugger gimmick days that was exclusive to Toys R Us. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be the end of today's video. If you enjoyed today's video mashing up pro wrestling with Funko Pops, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below your predictions for the 2024 Royal Rumble, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. 1, 2, 3, I'm out of here.